coming to the ring, the challenger, Eamonn Magee.
Eamonn Magee coming to the ring as challenger, as you've just heard, but he feels he should be entering the arena as champion. He and most observers felt he won that first fight against Paul Burke last November. It's been a long and frustrating wait for him to get Burke back in the ring. He says the referee will not be needed this time, so I wonder what performance this man from Belfast is going to come up with tonight. He's a good puncher, and in fact before he fought Paul Burke he'd never been past 7 rounds, but he couldn't put Burke away in the first fight. Can he do it this time?
Well, you would think he'll bring a lot more into this fight. Obviously he's very angry about the decision on the last one. He's had a lot of time to think about it, think about what he did right and what he did wrong, and he's coming to this fight very confident, saying that this one is going to go inside schedule and that he's going to be, he's finally going to have his titles.
The fiery and feisty Eamonn Magee from Belfast.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the ring the champion, Paul Burke.
Well, every time they write this fellow off, he comes back with another performance to surprise us. And he's still at the top at the age of 33. Give him all the credit in the world for that. Paul Burke. Tough character, a very proud professional. Born in the year that England won the World Cup in Preston. Not sure if it was the North End part of Preston, but he's very proud to come from that town and represent them so well at the top of British boxing. The Commonwealth champion. He says he deserved that little bit of luck that might have been involved in getting them the decision last time, and no one would really dispute that. He has height and reach advantages here. Magee bang on the limit and had to strip stark naked to make the weight for this fight. Burke, quarter of a pound inside. Magee, who's been a professional for 4 years, Burke for 12 years now. Burke has had a lot more fights and almost 5 times as many rounds as Magee in his career. Not that that counted for too much in the first fight. Magee's the puncher of the two. Burke's completed 12 rounds on 5 occasions, no doubting his stamina. Magee just that once in the first fight with this opponent. Magee never been on the floor. Burke 17 times.
Ladies and gentlemen, Panix Promotions, Frank Maloney and Sky TV proudly present a contest entitled Seeking Justice for the Light Welterweight Championship of the Commonwealth. Your referee, Dave Paris of London. Your timekeeper, Nick White. This is the Light Welterweight Championship of the Commonwealth, a contest over 12 rounds, each of 3 minutes duration, presenting and introducing to you the challenger. In the blue corner, sporting and proudly wearing the green, white and orange shorts at the official weigh-in, he's scaled 10 stone exactly. He brings tonight a professional career record of 15 fights, 13 wins, 2 losses, 11 wins by knockout. Hailing from Belfast, Eamonn Magee. Presenting and introducing to you in the red corner, sporting the black and green boxing shorts at the official weigh-in at 4 p.m. Sunday. He scaled 9 stone, 13 3/4 pounds. He brings tonight a professional career record of 42 fights, 28 wins, 12 losses, 2 draws, 10 wins by knockout, hailing from Preston, the welterweight champion of the Commonwealth, Burke.
So the Commonwealth light welterweight title on the line here, and at ringside for you, Glenn McCrory, and as Paul Dempsey was keen to remind you, the aging Ian Dark. So what's Magee going to come up with here? Is this the night that he gets his revenge? He's burning with indignation, but Burke is not a man to write off. Dave Paris, the referee from Tottenham in North London. No love lost between these two. There were remarks straight after the first fight when Magee said, if he's a man, he'll say I'm the champion. And Burke said, I'm a man, all right. What happens in the rematch? Black trunks of Burke, the defending champion. The Irish tricolour colours for Magee. 5 years younger at the age of 28. How many more times can Paul Burke come out there and produce a good, solid championship performance? Good, solid-looking shots early on from Magee.
Yes, he was looking to put a bit of power into those body punches, Magee.
10th championship fight at British, European or Commonwealth level, this for Paul Burke. 6 years ago that he had his cuts win over Billy Schwer, who's with us tonight. And he's still going pretty strong too, as you know. Magee boxing out of the southpaw style. Once or twice in the past, Burke has had problems with southpaws. Remember, John Thaxton beat him in 9 rounds, stopped him.
Right. Let him out, let him out. Pull him out. There it is. Pull him out. Let him out.
Chopping right by Magee as they broke away. And a couple of left hands too. Doing most of the work in the opening session, the Irishman.
Yes, he's just having the better start, just looking to lead off first. Burke a little bit cautious, looking to counter.
Just a bit tentative, Burke, out of range with his jab.
Right.
Magee, who's been in special training camp 50 minutes outside of Belfast, preparing for this, preparing very hard.
And a quick combination going in there from Magee.
Good left hand again from Magee. His hand speed's good, and he certainly won the opening round. And Dave Paris wants to work with both of them. The York Hall at Bethnal Green tonight. There's Eamonn Magee. Will be pleased with that start, I would think, Glenn.
Yes, he was fired up. He was getting off first, and he landed with a few good punches, and that was a decent, strong start from Eamonn Magee.
Magee with his back to you, red-haired fighter. who's trained by John Breen. Dave Paris, I think, has been worried about some of the work that's been going on the inside, and it's a bit of a grudge match, and I think no quarter being asked and certainly not given in there, and I think Dave Paris wants it cleaned up a bit.
Yes, well, I think that was Magee, a few infringements there, just hitting Burke on the back of the head. But I think just telling both boys just to calm down. Cautious start for Burke, but he very experienced. Will be looking to try and get that right hand going against the southpaw Magee.
Slow start this from Paul Burke. Magee, who looks big and strong really for a light welterweight. In fact, for his last fight he was up at 10 stone 5.5. I wonder if he's a bit tightish at the weight, bearing in mind too he had to strip naked to make 10 stone last night. Both of them have won twice since their last fight nearly a year ago. Magee looking a rough handful, maybe a little too rough for Burke early on here.
Yes, certainly Magee getting the better of it, more fire in his work, looking to work inside as well.
Again, fast left from Magee. Bit more action as well than we had in the first fight between these two, which was no thriller, if we're honest with you.
Well, I think there was maybe in the first fight a valuable lesson learned for Magee, that he couldn't let it go close. He's got to have a big win, and that's why I think he's so keen not to allow this to go to the referee's decision.
Little left cross from him there, hook come cross, which looked to be somewhere near the button. That's Magee's round again for me.
Live football on Sky Sports this week. Hull City Liverpool, the Worthington Cup on Sky Sports 2, Tuesday evening at 7, and on Thursday we have special coverage of the UEFA Cup on Sky Digital only. First round games involving Tottenham and West Ham are live only on Sky Sports News. Back to Glenn and Ian for round 3 of this major title fight.
Commonwealth light welterweight crown on the line here. Paul Burke defending the title, but the early cards have been played here by Eamonn Magee, who was a very fine amateur, won a World Junior silver medal in Puerto Rico. Getting on for a decade ago, that was now. He's not really what you'd call a young prospect or a novice just coming through, really, Eamonn Magee's 28 already.
Yes, I think he'll be looking to get a title and then really make the most of it and step up very quick. He certainly started the better here, and he's looking rough and aggressive inside, confident, looking to throw Burke about and be rough in there.
Been a good performance so far from Magee. No knockdown there.
Stop boxing, stop boxing.
And he's talking as well. Magee is talking to Burke, and Dave Paris doesn't want any of this. I think Dave Paris was fairly well clued up on the background going in, and he's decided he's having no nonsense. He's out of range with that jab all the time, isn't he, Burke?
Yes, against the southpaw. He needs to step into range. It's difficult because you're roaming for counters, but he has to try and double the jab up and get quickly across with that right hand.
Burke, whose career's almost been like a soap opera with So many twists and turns, you wonder what's coming up next. Very, very sharp right lead that time from Magee, and follows it with the left hand as well. He's just at the moment can't find a way into the fight, Burke. Big problems for the defending champion. Magee just knows he has to win tonight. It's his passport to bigger purses, and he hopes some big headline nights, presumably some of them back home in Belfast. 2 defeats on his record, the one against Burke, the controversial one, and against Teddy Reed in Boston, one of a couple of fights he had in the States.
Well, there's a couple of good shots landing there for Magee. He's looking to set the pace. Just the first to land and the sharper with his punches.
That's better from Burke. The last gets through with a right hand. And again, Magee with a lot of fire in those fists. And again, there's verbals between the two of them as they break away at the end of the round. Well, it's a fine performance this from Eamonn Magee. John Breen, the trainer, in the corner there.
Yes, decent right hand there from Magee. He's just quicker to the punch. He's throwing that jab, Burke, but he's not really landing with the punches. Needs to throw his shots with more authority.
4th round, due to go 12 this one. And the winner could go on to meet Thomas Damgaard, the European champion from Denmark. Magee's already beaten him in the amateurs, by the way. Burke, the champion, the one in the black trunks.
Right.
Hasn't won a round yet, has he?
No, certainly not on my card. I've given Magee the first 3 rounds. And Burke just too cautious, just waiting on Magee, and Magee is quite happy to set the pace and lead off first. There's just too much feinting with the jab. Burke needs to step in quicker.
Right.
But he's a resilient character, Paul Burke. He's 12 defeats on his record, but he's had many successes along the way as well. The win over Billy Schwer that Billy later avenged in emphatic fashion, but he's beaten people like Pat Barrett, Bernard Paul a couple of times as well, including one recent defense against him. Burke just trying to step in a little closer, but as he does so, the heads come dangerously close together, and again, Magee just gets the better of it.
He's certainly working better with that jab, Magee. The southpaw jab, just catching Burke time and time again, where Burke just falling short with his jab.
Again, the superior speed with the hands of Magee working for him.
A little warning for use of the head there for Magee, who's still just trying to be rough and aggressive inside. Just got to be a little careful he doesn't lose a point.
He's just occasionally following the punches in with the head, isn't he?
Yes, I think he's just a bit anxious, and he wants to win this very, very much, but just has to be careful. He's not too reckless.
Both boxers felt they'd win this inside 6 rounds. Well, if anybody's going to force a stoppage, it looks more like Magee at the moment. Magee looks like a fighter, doesn't he, Glenn, who this time is just sending out a message. This time I'm leaving no room for argument. And again, look at that at the end of the round. It's a bit nasty, isn't it, between the two of them?
Yes, it is. I think the message is I'm the boss. And at the minute, he certainly is, Magee. He's trying to be rougher inside. He's leading off first. He's better with the jab, and it's a good start for him.
It's a very interesting division. This Shane Neary, of course, exciting fighter, rated the best in Britain at the moment. John Thaxton, the recently married John Thaxton, congratulations to him. Still in the picture, Paul Burke at 3 there. Jason Rowland, who, when is he going to defend that British title? He's due to do it against Thaxton. It's got to happen sometime soon. Magee there at 5. Junior Witters up and coming. Mark Winters, will he get back in the picture? Former British champion. And then Ricky Hatton at the bottom there, who is regarded as the best prospect in the country at any weight.
Well, they're just clashing together a little bit there, and it's got to be careful with the heads.
5th round, champion Paul Burke from Preston, 33 now in the black trunks, but so far he hasn't really had a look in here against the fired up, the stoked up Eamonn Magee, an angry Eamonn Magee, who's waited a long time to get Burke back in front of him.
Well, he's just unable to really get into gear or find his time, and Paul Burke falling short all too often and being beaten to the punch very regularly.
What can Burke do about this, do you think, Glenn?
Well, he's got to try and lead off quicker. He's waiting a little bit too long. When he is jabbing, he's falling short with the jab. It's more like a feint, but then there's nothing coming behind that. He's got to try and step into range, and he's got to let the punches go. We've seen again just too many single punches from Burke. He's got to try and step in and throw combinations. The right hand, the left hook, normally the best punches against the southpaw.
Although Magee has fought with a kind of fury, it's been a controlled fury, hasn't it?
Yes, he's a little reckless when he rushes in with the head, but altogether he's just biding his time. He's just getting off first, and I think that's the key for him at this moment. He's the one that's looking to lead and just be the boss in there.
Not spectacular, Magee, but looking a good, solid, hard-to-beat pro.
Well, you notice he carries his right hand pretty low, but Burke is concentrating on throwing his own right. What he's got to do is throw the straight right and come back with a left hook, and that's where he could catch Magee with his right hand down.
Well, he's just hanging his chin out to dry there, trying to invite Burke in and maybe look for the counter. Magee. Burke did not accept that invitation. Still out of range, hitting the thin air all the time, Burke. And this is a pretty big lead that Magee is building up. A lead that may take a fair bit of clawing back. Title fight, which has been codenamed Seeking Justice. Magee is certainly trying to do that. He's landed 3 times as many punches so far, according to the computer, and I think the computer does not lie.
No, I think it could be pretty close there. Magee throwing a lot more. There's very little landing for Burke, and that really is, his problem. He just has to get closer, and he has to do it quicker.
This is the 6th round, getting on towards the halfway point of this battle. This championship, which has been going since 1972, when it was won by Joe Tete of Ghana. He was the first title holder. Right seemed to be with the inside of the glove, to be honest with you, from Magee.
Yes, it did a little bit, but Burke was very keen to hang on there. So maybe it just did shook him.
Oh, and he's got him with the right hand. Burke is down fast. Good punch from Magee, and big problems now, mounting problems for Paul Burke in the 6th round. Now, can Magee make his prediction come true and finishing it in this session? Oh, well, that's World Wrestling Federation.
Well, I think that was due to Burke trying to grab hold. He's trying to bide for time. But obviously that first right hand did get through from Magee, and he is shaken.
Oh, he's got him again. The leg splayed. And Burke, again, it was a right hand. Go to a neutral corner. He's already celebrating. Look at Eamonn Magee. He will not stay in that corner while the count goes on. And that's giving more time for Burke to recover. That wasn't so clever, really, by Magee. But he's so fired up, he finds another left hand. If he can just get home with one more big punch, it might be the end of it for Burke here. Burke needs the bell to end the round, but there's still another 50 seconds, and there he goes again. Third knockdown of the round, and it's stopped. He has his revenge, and it's just as he said, inside 6 rounds. Justice is how Eamonn Magee will see it, and that was an emphatic win. No doubt about it this time. Eamonn Magee of Belfast is the Commonwealth light welterweight champion, and how?
Yes, a good finish there from Magee. He just started to find the shot. The first punch didn't look as if it had really hurt him, but obviously he was shaking. Magee just kept the pressure on, and it was a matter of time. Burke tried to use his experience, but just couldn't get out of the way from the sharp and hard punches from Eamonn Magee. And he's finally got his revenge, and now holds the Commonwealth light welterweight title.
Very fine performance indeed by Eamonn Magee, and they'll be celebrating about that one among the Belfast boxing community. He never gave Paul Burke a look in. He always looked like the likely loser, really, from the very first bell. Burke tonight never got going, wasn't allowed to.
He wasn't. Burke never really established himself in the fight, and that was his problem. A lovely little short right uppercut there, and he knows that Burke is in trouble with that punch. There it is, just a short little right uppercut.
And he wheeled away like a celebrating goal scorer in the Premiership after that, Magee. That was the next one.
The second one just caught him just by the chin. Again, the celebrations from Magee.
The legs would not obey. Still talking over there to Burke. And I don't think it was an invitation to any kind of millennium party either.
I don't think it was. You know, he really meant an awful lot to Magee to get revenge here. And look at the legs, really just disobeyed him there.
And he's taunting him. He's taunting him there, which is not good to see, really. But you can understand where Magee's coming from, bearing in mind what happened in the first fight.
And the finish here, Magee just putting the pressure in, a little short choppy right hand there, and that was enough.
He really could not have done the job in more emphatic style. 3 knockdowns in the round, and that was the end of it for Paul Burke. He has lost his Commonwealth light welterweight championship, and not in controversial fashion this time. It's a great win for Eamonn Magee, and a great night, the crowning night of his career.
Ladies and gentlemen, the result. Your referee stopped the contest in 2 minutes, 15 seconds of round 6, presenting the new champion of the Commonwealth at light welterweight, Eamonn Magee. Ladies and gentlemen, your appreciation please for Paul Burke. And now, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the belt of the Commonwealth, the chairman of the Commonwealth Council, Ray Clark. Thank you.
Isn't that great to see? All the differences sorted out now. As Ian Dart mentioned, Magee probably felt he had a grievance, a justifiable grievance over the past year or so. And I'm delighted to say that we can probably now draw a line under that at times ill-tempered affair, but we did expect it to be on the rough edge tonight, and it was. And perhaps it is the right conclusion that Magee, this time round, will go home to Belfast with the Commonwealth belt. And now can look forward. But what is he going to look forward to? Can he break into a competitive division at home? Does he eye bigger prizes abroad? He's with Ian.
Well, Eamonn, when we spoke nearly a year ago, you were a very angry man, but you've got your justice tonight.
Justice has been done tonight. All thanks to Frank Maloney and my manager for getting back on again. Hello, I'm not big mouth, but I predicted 6 rounds. I think most of the boys that came over from Ireland had a few quid on me to win the 6th round.
You were very fired up. You were burning with indignation, weren't you?
It's hard to explain. So much hatred was in me from that last fight. There hasn't been a night has come by that I haven't been thinking about that fight. And the hate it built up me was unreal. And I need somebody, it had to be released from somebody, and unfortunately it was Paul Burke.
You were talking to him all the time in there. It wasn't an invitation to your Christmas party, was it?
No way. I mean, if I had took his head off the night, then I mean literally off his shoulders, I'd have took it off.
How angry were you in there? And it was a controlled anger because you box well.
The anger I had on me, the worst anger you can ever think of your life, I had it.
Where does your story go from here then? Because I suppose somebody's going to come up with the idea, aren't they, of an all-Irish battle with you and Shane Neary.
That's the one out there. That's the one we want. We want Shane Neary, find out who's the best Irishman out there. I've seen Shay, all Shay's been fighting has been lightweights coming up to light welterweights. He hasn't been fighting anybody with good solid hitting, and I'm the man who'll give him that test.
What about some of the other guys around, like John Thaxton and Jason Rowland?
He wants to fight Shane Neary, and he has a check, guaranteed certified backers check for 50 grand. If Mr. Neary wants to feel, he wants money for his efforts.
Okay, well, there's going to be a lot of talk about that. But how satisfying is this night for you now? Because the anger has gone, and afterwards, what did you say to Paul Burke? Because the two of you then, like boxers do, were hugging afterwards.
I told him that there was a lot of hatred and a lot of politics maybe in the game, but now it's all over. We're going to be friends. I suppose if he had a bit me, it might have been the opposite.
And you made the prediction came true, as you said, 6 rounds.
True, yeah. Another prediction that I actually bought a little suitcase for my belt. I didn't tell any trainers, and it's in my bag, but sir, I knew I was going to win it tonight.
You're a much different man now, more mellow and mature than the guy I faced a year ago here.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of controversy about the decision, wasn't there? I'd like to thank a couple of folks. I'd like to thank Nugget and Tommy for doing a circuit training in the Magalata and the Lower Wack Falls Road. I'd like to thank Tony Driver for giving us the premises, and I'd like to thank John Breen, Tommy Kelly and Mike Callahan for bringing me this far.
Okay, you've done all that, and well done tonight.
Can I just clear up one item? Alan Temple said on Saturday night that he boxed me and a scale 10 stone 11. He needs to get his facts right. We had 9:13 in 3/4, so I think it was actually later than him. And if he wants to write the British Box Board of Control, they should tell you.
Eamonn, you're sorting out a few things tonight. Well done.
Thanks a lot.